Hi there and welcome to our GTV preview show for the race meeting at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Tuesday the 24th of June. 9 races on the program, the first off at 12:10. Quick word about the weather. There was a bit more rain on the Sunday over the weekend, so we can once again expect the going to be very much on the soft side, as was the case for the Langerman meeting on Saturday. But I have to say, I thought the track held up pretty well throughout the Langerman meeting. First race off at 12:10. It's a maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,200 metres. We have 9 runners carded. The betting is dominated by just 3 runners, with number 1 Viva La Vida at 9 to 10. Gavin Larena rides for Vaughan Marshall. The consistent number 3 Marquetta placed 3rd in 4 over 5 starts. That's at 7 to 2. And number 8, Beautiful One for Elder De Meyer and Candice Bass Robinson, the daughter of One World, is at 22 to 10. Well, I think the betting has pretty much got it right. The only 3 runners that make any kind of appeal: number 1, Viva La Vida, second on debut behind Lowveld Lily. Number 3, Marquetta, who steps up to 1,200 metres after racing over the minimum trip in the last 3 outings. And the one that can certainly improve is number 8, Beautiful One. But all the signs point to number 1, Viva La Vida, making enough improvement off the back of that experience when running second behind Lowveld Lily. And Viva La Vida could get followers of favourites off to a winning start. The obvious bet, of course, would be to box the exactas 1, 3 and 8. Being the first of 9 races, race 1 does not form part of the exotics. Moving on to race 2, which is due for 12:45. It's the Race Coast Maiden Juvenile Plate for fillies over 1,200 metres. It is the first leg of the bipot, and the nap bet of the day comes in this race, an obvious bipot banker. Number 4, Dumoria. Elder De Meyer rides for the Candice Bass Robinson stable. The 2-year-old daughter of Captain of All has had 2 starts to date, finished runner-up in both starts. There are a couple of first-timers in the race that do not appear to be fancied, if the comments are anything to go by. And perhaps the principal threat to number 4, Dumoria, will be the stable companion, number 10, My Dear Friend, daughter of Master of My Fate, out of the very good mare Covenant. 2 fair runs to date, plenty of scope for improvement, and could be the one to chase number 4, Dumoria, home. Another that I would consider for the exactas is certainly number 3, 7 No Trump. The United States has had a wonderful season with his 2-year-olds. The Ricky Maingard stable is in form, was 5 lengths back behind Lowveld Lily on debut, and can take a major step forward here under Craig Zaki. So number 4, Dumoria, confident first choice. Certainly suggested as a bipod banker. The bipod is my bet of choice for this meeting. Perhaps exactas 4x3 and 4x10. Moving on to the third race, which is a middle stakes over 1,800 metres. First leg of the place accumulated, you're for 13:20. We have a competitive field of 8 runners, and there's a lot of form to go around, a lot of collateral form to go around. Let's give you the betting first of all. Number 1, Omikami, is at 17 to 2. Number 2, We Have Touchdown, 6 to 1. Number 4, Pinot Grigio, is at 3 to 1. Number 5, Song to the Moon, is at 28 to 10. Number 7, Congressman, the very strong front runner, is at 9 to 2, along with number 8, 006, at 9 to 2. Well, this race features a rematch between Pinot Grigio, 006, Song to the Moon, and We Have Touchdown. They ran 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th behind Ahead of the Facts. That was over 1,950 metres on the 1st of June. They do step back to 1,800 metres, but there's no reason why Pinot Grigio shouldn't confirm that form and have the measure of number 5, Song to the Moon. The one that doesn't come out of that form line is obviously number 7, Congressman. He's won 2 of his last 3 starts. Last time out was 3rd behind the fast improving Chasing the Rainbow. So certainly number 7, Congressman, is very much in the mix. So my top choice would be number 4, Pinot Grigio, ahead of number 5, Song to the Moon. But clearly numbers 2, We Have Touchdown, 7, Congressman, and 8, 006 are very much alive. But for bipot and place accumulator purposes, I'm going with number 4, Pinot Grigio, and number 5, Song to the Moon. Race 4 is the opening leg of the pick 6. It's an open maiden over 1,800 metres, due off at 13.55. An early scratching is number 2, Signor Dante. Remember, we record this show early on the Monday morning ahead of race day, which is Tuesday the 24th of June. Again, it's a pretty competitive open maiden. The favourite, though, very firmly so, is number 5, Sesame. Gavin Larena and Glenn Cotson, 3-year-old daughter of Legislate, has been improving with each and every outing, was second behind Beneath the Moon, fast finishing second behind the Beneath the Clouds last time out. Number 6, Real Stunner, is at 15-4, along with number 1, Money Extractor at 15-4. 9, Beautiful Side, is at 9-2. Brevin Plyke's teaming up with Eric Sands, the daughter of Vercingetorix, at 9-2. Number 10, Moment of Truth, is at 7-1. Those are the runners quoted in single figures. With a scratching of number 2, Signor Dante, we're down to 11 runners. I think the top choice has got to be number 5, Sesame. As I say, the daughter of Legislate is improving with each and every outing. She's only had the 4 starts. Last time out was over the distance of 1,800 metres. Gavin Larena is riding up a storm in the Western Cape. Number 6, Real Stunner, was a distant second behind Ario Vistus last time out, but that form was certainly franked as Ario Vistus came out to win again. Money Extractor makes some appeal as far as being an exacta, trifecta and quartet inclusion is concerned. Beautiful Side, another one with plenty of scope for improvement. Also represents the Ario Vistus form, and in fact was only half a length behind Real Stunner last time out, and perhaps Beautiful Side, now that she's stepping up in trip, is coming to hand rather nicely. And in that same race behind Ario Vistus, number 10, Moment of Truth, was 4th, and he was running on quite nicely at the end. So as far as the bipod is concerned, I'm going with numbers 5, Sesame, 6, Real Stunner, and 9, Beautiful Side. We'll recap the bipod at the end of the show, but perhaps you'll get away in the place accumulator with just including numbers 5, Sesame, and number 6, Real Stunner. The first half of this card seems to be quite punter friendly. I'm expecting the results to go well in the first half of the program, but there's some tough races to come a little later on. As we move to race 5, which is the first leg of Jackpot 1, it's a maiden plate over 1,600 metres. It's off at 14.30. 11 runners. Interesting race. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go through the betting first up, though. Number 2, Set to Music. Second to Afrique, well beaten second behind Afrique last time out for the Ricky Mangard stable. That is at 7-1. Number 5, Smart Horse, late declaration. Smart Horse will get the cheek pieces. That's at 7-2. Also equipment change for number 6, Narratois, will race with the blinkers and the tongue tie. Number 9, Captain's Alliance, is at 7-1. Number 10, Ballsy Rossi, is at 11-2. And the market leader is number 11, Better Man. That's quoted at 18-10. I'm sure Better Man would be a lot shorter in the market, but for the wide draw of 11. Once again, it's the Gavin Larena Vaughan Marshall combination. Now, this Son of One World was 6th on debut, well beaten when starting 9-4 favourite, so that was clearly a disappointing effort, but stepped up to the plate over 1,400 metres in his second outing, when second to Pay the Palace. And we saw Pay the Palace come out and finish a good second in the Langerman over the weekend. And in its third start, number 11, Better Man, was a third, 1 length behind Randolph Hearst. So those are the 3 runs he's had. But crucially, since his last run on the 21st of April, number 11, Better Man, has been gelded. So I'm going to make him my first choice, number 11, Better Man, despite the poorest draw of all. It's not going to be easy for Gavin Larena and Vaughan Marshall, because a bad draw on the winter course at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth over 1,600 metres is a bad draw. He'd probably go forward and they might have to use him up a little bit. I'm going to back him up with a horse that I think could show a lot of improvement. He's quoted at 12-1 in the anti-post market, and that is number 4, Gallic Forge. For me, he's an interesting runner. 3-year-old by Vercingetorix, whereas Better Man is a 2-year-old. James Crawford's runner made its debut way back on the 2nd of June 2024. No kind of run at all. But he was then off the track for a lengthy period and was gelded in the interim. He reappeared on the 16th of April and showed a lot of improvement when 5th of 13, only 3.5 lengths behind Green Planet. There has been a direct winner from that form line. It wasn't the strongest maiden around, but that was over 1,200 metres. And now number 4, Gallic Forge, steps up to 1,600 metres. He could be absolutely anything. Number 4, Gallop Forge, is certainly the mystery horse in the race. So in the bipot, I'm going with numbers 4 and 11. I'm hoping you can get away with number 11, Better Man, as a banker in the place accumulator, but certainly Captain's Alliance, number 9, Ballsy Rossi, number 10, they'll make their presence felt. And number 5, Smart Horse, is the second choice in the market. He ran second, well beaten by Gold Dust last time out. But I think that although he comes with a bit of a reputation, I do think that number 5, Smart Horse, has got to show a little bit more before I'll be ticking his box, although he does get the cheek pieces for the first time in his career. So 11, Better Man to win race 5, but the mystery horse, the dark horse in the race, could well be number 4, Gallop Forge. Now things get a little bit tougher as we move to race 6, which is the first leg of Jackpot 2. It's the perfectly placed Class 4 handicap over 1,600 meters, and it's off at 15.05. Number 1, King's Quest, out of pole position, is at 11-2. 2, Arbitration, is at 5-1. Number 5, Express Yourself, is 10-1. Number 7, Hoodie, is at 5-1. 9, Show Off, is 8-1. 13, Thomas Jenkins, is at 9-1. And 14, What a Fortune, is at 15-2. So the betting tells a story. This Class 4 handicap over 1,600 meters, they're betting 5-1 the field. And I have to say, I've included 5 runners in this leg of the bipod. So this is not a race I trust. I think each way chances to all of numbers 1, King's Quest, who's been largely disappointing, and gets another chance here to prove that actually 1,600 meters is within his compass. 2, Arbitration, has run 2 very good post-maiden runs, jumps out of Stallgate number 2, and of course JP van der Merwe and Justin Snaith are in very good form. I'm interested in Express Yourself. Clearly 1,600 meters is arguably on the sharp side. He was sacrificed as a pacemaker 3 runs back in the Splash Out Cape Derby, then came out and ran third over 1,800 meters, and last time out was not too far away in the race, won by Stable Companion ahead of the fact. So there is a chance that number 5, Express Yourself, will be ridden by Muzi Yeni, of course won the Langerman for the Justin Snaith stable. There is a chance that number 5, Express Yourself, is overpriced in double figures and could be a nice each-way selection. Another horse that I think is overpriced in the anti-post market is number 6, Dive Bomber. He won on debut, yes, beating very little. His next start wasn't too bad when making late progress behind Surge of Power in a Class 4 over 1,200 meters. Now Dive Bomber by Lancaster Bomber steps up to 1,600 meters. This trip should be absolutely ideal. Lucinda Woodruff again had a winner with Dean Street over the weekend, so the stable continues to churn out the winners. And I think Dive Bomber at big odds is another that's got to be considered for trifectas and quartets, but perhaps the horse that sets the standard is number 7, Hoodia. Show Off can improve, moderate post-maiden run. And then Thomas Jenkins and What a Fortune, they come out of the same race. Thomas Jenkins has won his last 2. Last time out he beat What a Fortune by next. So they both come in here from poor draws but with good form. I think Thomas Jenkins might have more to come, but clearly Thomas Jenkins and What a Fortune warrant consideration despite their poor draws in a very, very trappy race. I can't be confident about anything here. I do think there might be some value around Express Yourself and Dive Bomber, but quite frankly, any result can be expected. The 7th race is a middle stakes, 1,400 meters off at 15.40. It's the first leg of the final pick 3. Very interesting race and a very interesting betting market. And I say interesting race because Please Be True, Dawn Till Dusk and Green Garnet raced against each other. That was on the 25th of May. That was the time that we all thought Dawn Till Dusk had got up to beat Air Raid, but the photograph showed the other way around. So Dawn Till Dusk only ran second. So he ran second. Green Garnet ran third. There was only a neck separating the two. And 2 lengths away behind them was Please Be True. Now, they meet at the same weight. So you would have thought, you know, that Please Be True wouldn't be favourite. But in fact, he is favourite and attracting betting support. Number 2, Please Be True at 18-10. With number 3, Prometeur at 7-2. I'll come back to Prometeur in a moment. Dawn Till Dusk is at 5-1, along with Green Garnet at 5-1. So clearly the anti-post market doesn't reflect what happened in their last start. So what is the key difference? Well, this could be it. Number 2, Please Be True, gets blinkers. That's a late declaration. Please Be True gets blinkers for the first time in his career. And Gavin Larena reunites with the 3-year-old son of One World. Now, the last time Gavin Larena rode Please Be True, in fact, the only previous time that he rode Please Be True, was when Please Be True won its maiden on the 24th of July last year. So we know Please Be True is better than his last run. He was clearly disappointed in his connections. They've added blinkers. That's a late declaration. But still, you know, he's going to have to prove on the track that he can turn that form around with Green Garnet and Dawn Till Dusk. Prometheus for me is probably better over 1,600 meters. He does take a steep drop in class. The average rating of his last 3 races were 106, 108, 111. The average rating here is 91, so it's a big drop in class for number 3, Prometheus, who gets the services of Richard Faree, but 61.5 to shoulder. The horse that could blow them all away is number 1, War Chariot, who jumps out of pole position. I say that because if you go back to the 28th of April, he was only beaten in neck by Green Garnet. Green Garnet, of course, brings that Dawn Till Dusk, Please Be True form into the race. And he was giving a kilogram to Green Garnet on that occasion. Now he receives 2.5. So War Chariot should turn over the form with Green Garnet. And if he does that, he could turn over the form with Please Be True and Dawn Till Dusk. And War Chariot at 6 to 1 represents some good each way value. Brevin Plykes is in very good form. He rides here for the Harold Crawford, Michelle Ricks combination. And I think that number 1, War Chariot, is going to be my top choice. But it's going to be an interesting race. It's going to be a hard-fought affair. War Chariot to win it. Please Be True, Dawn Till Dusk, and Green Garnet, obvious chances. Prometheus, you can't ignore, even though I fancy he might be a little bit better over 1,400 meters. Moving on to the penultimate, race 8, a Class 5 fillies and mares, 1,400 meters off at 16:20, first leg of the final double. Well, good luck in this race. It's an absolute lottery. Number 7, Fly to Rio, is a late scratching. There's a form update for number 13, Red State. Did run 5th over the weekend, beaten 4.5 lengths behind Meg's Legacy. Not sure whether Red State, jumping out of the worst gate of all, is going to stand her ground here. Really, this is a tough race. Sweet Conifer, Richard Faree rides for James Crawford. Stable companion is number 6, Angel's Oasis. Louis Mkotwa rides for James Crawford. They are both owned, well, rather, let me correct that. Sweet Conifer is owned by Ridgemont, so Richard Faree has to ride that. Angel's Oasis owned by Jason Murugasa. Now, it's interesting, they both beat Cape Captain when winning their maidens. Cape Captain unfortunately bled the other day, so wasn't able to confirm that form. Nothing to choose between Sweet Conifer and Angel's Oasis. Either could win a race of this nature. Royal Lytham always does enough to keep us interested. Adam Marcus had a winner over the weekend, and Royal Lytham tries 1,400 meters once again. Coming around the turn, which he hasn't done since racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Bright Gold, 2 moderate post-maiden efforts, but well drawn, can improve in this sort of class. Black Path ran a place in a similar company last time out and could again get involved with just 52.5 to shoulder Namuzi Yeni. The early market leader is number 11, Diamond Bomber, 33 to 10. Does have an awkward draw to overcome. Has had 3 starts since winning its maiden. Has not hit the frame in any of those 3 starts. And when you consider that when winning its maiden, it's beaten Catch a Penny, everybody in town seems to have beaten Catch a Penny, still struggling to win a race. So the value in the race might well lie with number 12, Senora Victoria, who's got no bad draw to overcome. Gavin Larena rides. Her form doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, but we know in her best previous form, she is, after all, a 3 times winner, and she's got very good course and distance form. So the value might lie with number 12, Senora Victoria. She might well be the floating banker, but to be absolutely honest with you, I can't be of much help. So number 12, Senora Victoria, my marginal top selection, perhaps a roving banker, perhaps a little each-way touch. Sweet Conifer and Angel's Oasis, both to run forward races for the James Crawford stable. The 9th and final is a Class 4 handicap over 1,200 meters. It's off at 16:55. And again, it's a very, very trappy little race, but we can perhaps narrow this one down. I'm going to focus on 4 horses, but first of all, the betting. Number 1, Night Tiger, is at 10 to 1. The favourite is number 2, Circumbendibus, at 33 to 10. Number 6, Elsinore, is at 7 to 1. Number 8, Trippy Silk, is at 4 to 1. 11, One Liner is at 11 to 2, and Street Outlaw is at 10 to 1. The 4 that I'm focusing on is number 1, Night Tiger, double figure odds, third last time behind Flying Finley over 1,000 metres, goes equally well over 1,200 metres. We saw Dean Street come out to win for the Fullard and Drew combination. Lucinda Woodruff, of course, trains Dean Street. Night Tiger's trained by Candice Bass Robinson. But he's too good a horse to ignore completely. He is a 4-time winner. He's not always consistent, but when caught in the right move, the 5-year-old son of Rafif can be effective, and he goes quite nicely in the wet as well. Circumbendibus is entitled to be favourite. He's been runner-up in his last 2 starts. He gets another chance to crack his second career victory and will be there and thereabouts when the photographs are taken. 6 Elsinore could also find himself in the money, but Trippy Silk is a serious runner. He's back over 1,200 metres. His recent form is consistent. He hasn't always been consistent, but he's been enjoying racing recently. And with Andrew Fortune up, Trippy Silk is definitely one of the leading lights in the race, as is number 11, One Liner. Well, Gavin Lorena's strike rate for the Harold Crawford Michelle Ricks team is incredible. They've joined together 14 times, 6 wins. That's almost a 50% strike rate. So whenever Gavin Lorena rides for the Harold Crawford Michelle Ricks partnership, training partnership, then you've got to take note. Street Outlaw could be the one to surprise. So the 4 that I'm most keen on are numbers 1 Night Tiger, 2 Circumbendibus, 8 Trippy Silk, and 11 One Liner. I'm not going to be overly confident that about highlighting who my win choice would be. Probably Trippy Silk ahead of Circumbendibus, Night Tiger, and One Liner. But I think all 4 of those at the very least have got to go into the final leg of Jackpot 2 and the final leg of the Pick 6. If you're looking to narrow the place accumulator down, I'd include Night Tiger number 1, Circumbendibus number 2, and Trippy Silk number 8. But 11 One Liners certainly got to go into the final leg of Jackpot 2, certainly got to go into the final leg of Pick 6, and you might also want to consider 6 Elsinore and 13 Street Outlaw. As I said, the first half of the card, somewhat a little easier for punters than perhaps the back half of the card. And that's one of the reasons why I've gone for the bipod as my bet of choice. I want to get it all done and dusted over the first half of the program. So let's go through my bipod. I have made reference to it. First leg, which is race 2 over 12.45, bankering number 4, Dumoria. Second leg going with numbers 4, Pinot Grigio and Song to the Moon. Song to the Moon will run another big race, but Pinot Grigio might just have his measure. Third leg going 5, 6, and 9, Sesame, Real Stunner, and Beautiful Side. Sesame is the short price favourite, might get the job done, but I do have respect for Real Stunner and Beautiful Side. Then we're going with numbers 4 and 11. Now, Better Man is going to be a popular choice in race 5, but I backed him up with number 4, Gallic Forge, as mentioned when we went through the race. So 4 and 11 there. And then we go wide in the last 2 legs. 5 horses by 4 horses, going with numbers 2, 5, 6, 7, and 13. In the penultimate leg of the bipod, and numbers 1, 2, 6, and 8 in the last leg. It's a good race at race 7, but I do think that War Chariot is going to give us a very, very good run for our money. So that's a wrap as far as this race meeting at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Tuesday, the 24th of June is concerned. Good racing.